Hey everyone, thanks for joining. I promised everyone that I would do a video tutorial for stamps.com, basically just shipping overall. Try to make this pretty quick as possible. It's really a painless process. I know a lot of people had questions on it. Hey, what's the cheapest way to ship? What do you use to ship? What kind of printer do you use? I think that's the biggest thing right now, is just to kind of go over most effective way to run your business. Personally, I use the Dymo Label Writer 4XL with 4x6-inch shipping labels that can go prefixed right on our packages. We ship exclusively using USPS, using poly mailers, which are the purple ones if you've gotten from Jen, and or if it's over a pound, we use the USPS bubble mailers. They're flat rates. I'll go over that just in a moment. Just as far as pricing is concerned, I think the biggest thing that you want to do is you want to get a stamps.com for business account. As you can see, we're logged in right now with our LuLaRoe JennMcD. You can see we only have a $25.93 balance in there. And at the top, you're going to see a lot of different things like mail, different contacts that we've created over the past 6 months. Our history, it's going to show our print history. We can run reports and we can buy supplies directly through Stamps if you choose to. I set up a test, put in a kind of a fake order for myself just to run through this tutorial. As you can see on the right-hand side, I have the back end of LuLaRoe open. I have Audrey open. We have my 101821108 order, which is myself. You can see my email address. Audrey's really done a great job of kind of coming up to date with making sure the email address gets exposed here. Just ignore these Facebook notices that are going to come up for the business. The total price we're going to have is $40. We're going to have discounts if we're going to put those in. Taxes are getting automatically collected going forward. We have subtotals and our total balance paid. You guys, I'm really not going to be going over Audrey and how to be using Audrey. You guys have different tutorials for that, or you can talk to your leader as how to use Audrey. So really what I want to do is want to go in, and Audrey has two different ways to let you know that it's paid. First is blue. If there's blue on the name and the invoice at this screen, and I got here through reports and then invoices. If it's blue, essentially just means that we are collecting information. We got all the card information, as you can see down here on the bottom. Sees the sales total, and you can actually look up the ID, which is nothing that we're going to be doing for the shipping portion. So for right now, I just want to go into the order by clicking the actual order number. And as I go into the order number, a few things you're going to notice here: the invoice date, the value of what you paid for, any notes that were invoiced, and as far as what they bought. For myself, I got myself another Patrick and a 3X. That's all I wear. And then when they pay their invoice, they will be putting in their address. For right now, I didn't pay the invoice. It's just a test. But as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, Stamps.com had collected the information from myself already and pre-populated it. And I was mentioning before, as far as contacts go, as soon as you put this in and you ship to an address, it will pull up that address prior. So the nice thing is it will kind of really cache a lot of different information for us. So if I start typing in, say, the name like Ashley, it pulls up everyone that we had shipped to, which is a really nice feature. Saves me a ton of time, and I'm able to get out a lot of different information to make sure that we can kind of ship to the right address. The only thing I really get hung up on sometimes is that it may have an address change. So I really just have to make sure that I'm checking on the addresses that are in Audrey to what I had saved in our contacts. I know that there are a few people that were in college, they're no longer living at college housing, and they're back at their new place. So I really want to make sure that I'm not sending it to their old address. So I've gotten caught up with that prior. I just want to make sure that you guys know that that is one thing that you don't want to do. Just entering in my credentials here again. 0, if I knew where I lived. Another option we like to do is email tracking. This is going to send an automated email directly to the customer from Stamps.com. The nice part about that is it takes us the accountability off of the seller really for the shipping portion. At the beginning, we weren't doing this, and I wasn't capturing the email address. And I know that Jen and myself were getting a ton of emails for, hey, how do you know where my package is? Or it says that it should have been here in 2 days. Really, the accountability is taken off of the seller, and Stamps.com will send this out, and we can just direct them towards that automated email that was sent out by Stamps to their email address. A lot of times the email addresses sometimes aren't correct or updated, so you really want to make sure that when you pull from that contact history, that the email address is the one that they were going to be checking. Just kind of back up a second. You're able to set up in Stamps.com where we're going to mail from, which is right here. For us, we had already shipped up our return address, and this is going to get printed out on the label once we print out. We set this up in the initial settings when we're creating our account. So as you can see, we have our return address with Jennifer McDonald at LuLaRoe with JennMcD. Same address as our home address. That's where we choose to have it, and that will come up again on the top right, or the top left-hand side right here on our preview. What we want to print on. So you have a lot of different options. So at first we were printing on 8.5 by 11 paper, just your standard sheet of printing on a regular printer. We were cutting it out manually, just cutting out and putting inside or on top of the poly mailer and taping it to the top of the poly mailer. And I'd throw an extra piece of tape over the barcode so when scanning happened. It probably took me 4 times as long to do each package that way than it did with the Dymo label writer. And that's not saying that this is a push for you to get the label writer or have to. I just know that the price that we paid for it, it saves me my sanity for having to buy ink for the full size printer. On the Dymo label writer, it doesn't use ink, it's a thermal printer, so basically the heat makes the transfer on the printer, and there's no ink to replace it all, ever. All you have to do is just buy the new cartridges to have the labels put on. Installing it's really easy. As you can see, I'm running a Mac operating system, so it's even easier for just plugging and playing and getting right into there. I will be forthcoming with you. I did have some issues with it at first, just getting it set up. I called Stamps.com and they had me squared away in a couple of seconds. Literally in a couple of seconds. They just had me change the name of the printer on within my computer, and Stamps.com recognized it. We do use the web form. So as you can see, we went to print.stamps.com. So this is Windows operating system has a piece of software. You can do all this software printing from within this kind of built desktop functionality that you can do the exact same thing, but you don't have to have to go into a website. I can't really speak to it since I have a Mac. It does not work on Mac. It only works on PC. So just know that going forward, if you have a Mac, you'll be doing it the same way I have. Honestly, I don't know the difference, but I think this way works out great. I'm able to pretty much run through maybe, I'm going to just guess, 60 to 70 items in under an hour. So I've gotten very efficient at it, so this is kind of why I'm doing the tutorial. A couple different things. Weight. Make sure your weights are correct. We do have a wonderful mail lady who comes and does a stop at our house each day, or whenever we're shipping. For myself, I'm able to put a little post-it note out at my mailbox with my mail flag up, to let her know that, hey, we have packages that are sitting on our front porch. She's dropped off the USPS bins that we fill up. All these printing labels are on there. They're already prepaid, and as far as the weight that goes, the weight is already built into the shipping label. Problem with that is if you ever come across an issue where the weight is not, or is extremely far off, is not the same as what the actual weight of the package is, they will return your package to you. It's only happened once, as far as I'm concerned. We do have a scale here. We weigh everything as we go out, but I found some kind of tips and tricks as far as stamps and how much they actually charge with our business account. One of those being, if you kind of look down here, there's a couple of different services. We use, for any of our poly mailers, we're going to use a package thick envelope. It's first class mail. It gets there in 2 days, usually 3 days. And I think it really what it does here is it pulls your address. So it's going to recognize it caches the reference basically back to what our shipping address is, where we're mailing from, and where this is going. So if it's in Buford, Georgia, the package of the thick envelope is only going to cost $2.60. This is usually a flat rate across the board, and it's based on weight. So as you'll see, we'll just select that we're sending a poly mailer, and I'm just going to bump the weight up. I find that anywhere below 8 ounces, I'm going to click on 8 ounces, is going to be this $2.60. Well, went to 0. Okay, we have 8 ounces there. Anything that's below 8 ounces is going to stay $2.60. So regardless of what you do, however you want to ship, I do know that a pair of leggings is an OS leggings or one size leggings. It's around 6 ounces. Generally what I do is I have a lot of those. I'm going to keep it at 8. I provide myself a little buffer, and there's no charge in the different service if we're shipping a poly mailer. With that being said, as soon as you go up to 9, you're going to see the price increase. And it increases pretty drastically, almost by another $1. And as you go up even further, it's going to continue to increase. Now with poly mailers, you're shipping first class. The most that you can do is just under a pound. So just keep that in mind when you're shipping. Anything that's going to be more than that 15.9, you're going to have to put into a padded first class or priority mail envelope. There is an option for that. So as you go to put in 1 pound, 15.9 ounces, you're going to see our red box here that it's not going to allow you to ship with that weight. What we're going to do is we're going to click down on our service. We're going to go to our padded flat rate envelope, and those red boxes will go away. Tracking is exactly the same. We don't do any insurance, don't have any other extra services, and we change our mail date. On Sundays, it will automatically change your mail date to the next day, just so you know, since USPS does not ship out on Sundays. It's not a day for them to move out. So that's really what we do as far as a priority flat mail, flat rate envelope. I have found that in the past, you do want to select padded if you have padded. And if you have the regular flat rates that are not padded, they are 2 different envelopes. They will make you pay the difference, either on receipt of the item, so the customer is going to be taking care of that cost difference, or they will ship it back. I've had really kind of one issue in the past where I did this flat rate envelope. Mail person was really cool. She let it kind of slide, but let me know that we needed to have this padded flat rate envelope, or it would be returned. The other thing that we really do use is regional rate boxes. And again, regional rate is exactly that. You can ship up to 15 pounds, which is most of our Lula is going to fit in that box. It's not massive. It's not a very big box, and I find that I can probably fit just as much in a padded flat rate than I can in this regional rate box A. But it is based on region. It's depending on where it's going. If it's local and it's a box that I need to have something for that specific matter, then we use that. Honestly, our 2 biggest things that we use are this padded flat rate envelope that some of you have gotten, or if it's under a pound, this package thick envelope here that's going to be a first class. So either we have it going priority mail, which is generally a little bit faster. I know it says 1 day here, but it's generally a 2-day shipment anywhere in the country, which is great. And then our first class mail takes anywhere from 2 days to 4 days that I've seen, but for the $2.60 is really a great deal. So as we go back, you'll see as your weight kind of comes back under, you take the poundage away and you're just dealing with ounces, that service then pops back up. If it's grayed out, it means that you don't meet some sort of the criteria. So I select my package envelope. Next thing I want to do is I make sure that the total's okay. I just go right down to print postage. It's really nice that this is what Stamps does, is we have a low postage balance. It's going to read, once you print, postage available in your account will be less than 25. You can set up these warnings just to let you know. We have it set up to our business card, so it really doesn't matter for us as much, just that it automatically refills. But you can manually put in, if you want to switch up a different card or pay however you would like through PayPal, you can add additional funds to your account. So that's what we do. We have it set up automatically. Once it gets down below, I believe it's a $5 flat threshold, it will then re-up another $100 into our account. So we just keep going like that. Funds are really never an issue when it comes to printing. I don't have to really worry about it since we've already done the back-end work and settings. Once I hit OK, just to kind of alert me that we only have that $25 balance after we ship this package, it's going to bring us to our printer settings. For right here, I have just the one printer set up on my computer to avoid any confusion, and I have it as a Dymo label writer for Excel. Again, this is what you want to search in Amazon. I believe it's under $200, so you can be out the door for $200 with a stack of printing thermal labels if you would like. So really what you want to do is be sure that you load one sheet of labels in there. Everything is up and going, and you'll hear it buzz on my computer. Hey, and it's actually a really good thing to notice. Stamps, when you're using the online application, has to deal with a plugin with your browser. So I'm using Chrome. So that plugin allows it to communicate with your device and the actual backend infrastructure within Stamps.com. The nice thing about this is that it will always kind of alert you if you've stayed idle for a while. I've been idle for probably closer to 20 minutes, and that's the only reason I'm getting this. If I was able to go back in and refresh my browser, it would go and print my label out just fine. But that's just a nice little, hey, you need to kind of relog back into Stamps, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Go to Stamps.com online. I've saved it, saved my password. It'll sign back in. It should pull my exact address that I was working with before. See? And I'm able to print postage. And I go to print. If you hear that sweet sound in the background, that's it printing with the USPS tracking. A couple nice things right at the top. It's going to let you know that your postage was sent to your printer. You can copy your tracking, reprint. If it's screwed up printing or for whatever reason the label didn't come out right, that's pretty much where you would go right up top. If there was a problem, you're like, oh goodness gracious, I sent it to the wrong address. What you want to do is you want to go back into History tab and then request a postage refund. Please make sure when you do this and you request your refund that you are selecting the right one. If you're going to be reprinting another one, you're going to have two in your queue that you're going to need to kind of decipher from. It's going to be the last one. So for me right here, here's our print date. I want to click on this and I want to hit refund. Since obviously I paid for this shipping, but I'm not shipping anything. I click here. I certify under penalty of federal mail fraud. I'm not committing fraud. I was just a test. I want to submit, and then my e-refund will be put right back on my card, which takes up to 21 days. In this case, it was $3, so it's kind of worth it for the price of the video. Again, we can go back into our contacts, and as you see here, you're going to have an entire contact list of everybody that's shipped from that we've shipped from LuLaRoe. Again, I won't go through because that's mostly historical data. Other history, this is really kind of where we kind of is our bread and butter in here. So as far as print history, I get asked daily if, hey, I ever sent that out, what was the poundage or how much, where are we at exactly with our shipment for a customer by Jen. So with that being the case, I go into my history tab, I go to search print history, I'm able to see my print history. It's going to show me where it's at within USPS, and it's going to give me the tracking number that I can plug into USPS. I find going directly to USPS's website and plugging in the tracking number is much more effective than using Stamps. It uses some sort of a relay, and Stamps is not real time with showing where the package is at. Always go to USPS with the tracking number. This way, you're on the same page with the customer and know exactly where it's at, and you can kind of. What I do is I allow them to have a screenshot. I take a screenshot of where it's at on USPS. It'll say that it was delivered to the mailbox, or their front door, or the P.O. box, and then there's really kind of no question of where the package was at. That's, for the most part, it's pretty much it. After you set up your account, you're going to go at the top here. You have a lot of different manage account options. That's going to go through your billing. It's going to go through, like you said, over there on the left-hand side, your mail from, which is Beaufort, Georgia, from Jen's mailing address. I don't know, a host of different other issues. Stamps.com, their customer support is great. I'm going to try to put a link here on the bottom of this email excuse me, link in the bottom of this video to kind of show you where the Amazon you can find from the label writer, the 4XL, and what we have that works really well for us. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope it wasn't too long-winded, and everybody have a great day. If there's any questions, please reach out to Jen or myself.